Everything you want in life is on the other side of a version of you that you have been avoiding. And until you become that person, you will keep calling your own delay bad luck. Most people will never get what they want in life, not because it is impossible, but because they keep chasing results with the same weak habits, the same confused mind, and the same undisciplined self. The moment you change that, life begins to open in ways you never imagined. Most people stay hungry their entire lives, not because life denied them, but because they never learned how to stand in front of life correctly. They wish, they hope, they complain, they compare, they wait for timing, they wait for support, they wait for confidence, they wait for some invisible permission to finally become the person they keep talking about. And while they are waiting, life keeps moving. Opportunities keep moving. Strong people keep moving. Discipline keeps moving. Time keeps moving. So the tragedy is not that people cannot get what they want. The tragedy is that most people spend their energy wanting without becoming the kind of person who can hold what they want. There is a difference, a deep difference, a dangerous difference, because desire alone feels powerful, but without inner transformation, desire becomes torture. You dream of peace, but your mind is chaos. You dream of success, but your habits are weak. You dream of respect, but you do not respect your own word. You dream of love, but you abandon yourself the moment you feel lonely. Then you ask, why is life not giving me what I want? But life is always responding. It is responding to your actions, your standards, your consistency, your direction, your patience, your emotional control, not your fantasies, not your moods, not your excuses. If you truly want to get everything you want in life, you must first understand something that most people do not want to hear. You cannot chase every desire in your current form and expect a different destiny. The first battle is not outside, it is inside. It is the battle between the self that seeks comfort and the self that seeks growth. The self that wants quick pleasure and the self that wants lasting fulfillment. The self that wants attention and the self that wants mastery. The self that wants things handed over and the self that earns its place in this world. And until you settle that inner conflict, your life will remain divided. Half of you wants greatness. Half of you wants convenience. Half of you wants discipline. Half of you wants delay. Half of you wants truth. Half of you wants illusion. And a divided human being cannot move with full force. That is why many people live tired. Not because they do too much, but because they waste so much energy fighting themselves. The first way to get everything you want in life is to become painfully honest about what you actually want. Not what sounds impressive, not what makes other people clap, not what society told you should matter. What do you want when the noise falls away? What kind of life do you truly want to wake up to? What kind of mind do you want to live inside? What kind of body do you want to carry? What kind of relationships do you want to protect? What kind of work would make your struggle meaningful? Most people are not clear. They use vague language and then wonder why their life is vague. They say they want to be successful. Successful how? They say they want peace. Peace from what? They say they want money. For what purpose? They say they want love. But are they looking for love, or are they looking for someone to rescue them from themselves? You must be precise. Life becomes clearer when you become clearer. A weak mind speaks in fog. A strong mind speaks in direction. When you are not honest about what you want, you become easy to distract. Every trend can pull you. Every opinion can confuse you. Every attractive shortcut can seduce you. Today you want one thing, tomorrow another, next week something opposite, and then you call it being open-minded. No. It is being ungrounded. A tree that grows deep roots does not apologize for staying in one place while it rises. It knows where it belongs. It knows what it is doing. It knows what it is becoming. And because it knows, the storm does not negotiate with it. If you want more from life, stop speaking in borrowed desires. Sit with yourself long enough to feel the difference between what you envy and what you truly value. Many people chase things they do not even want. They only want the image, the validation, the feeling of being seen. But image cannot feed the soul. Validation cannot replace purpose. Being seen is not the same as being fulfilled. So ask yourself with courage, if nobody praised me, what would still matter to me? If nobody watched me, what would I still work for? If nobody envied me, what life would I still choose? That is where truth begins. And truth is powerful, because once you are honest, you stop wasting years climbing ladders that lead nowhere. You stop trying to become someone you were never meant to be. You stop scattering your energy across 10 false identities. Clarity is power. Clarity saves time. Clarity protects life force. And the clearer you are, the more ruthless you become with distraction. The second way to get everything you want in life is to understand that wanting is cheap, but preparation is rare. Everyone wants the harvest. Very few will prepare the soil. Everyone wants confidence. Very few will train through embarrassment. Everyone wants respect. Very few will build character in private. Everyone wants the reward. Very few will become worthy of the reward. This is where most people fail. They fall in love with the outcome, but they remain strangers to the process. They talk about the result as if speaking about it should be enough. But life does not work like that. You do not receive because you desperately desire. You receive because you have aligned your identity, your behavior, and your patience with the thing you seek. Preparation is invisible to the weak eye. From outside, it looks boring. Repetition, discipline, silence, early mornings, unseen effort, saying no, starting again, failing better, remaining steady when nothing dramatic is happening. But in that invisible season, a human being is being forged. And once forged, they move differently. They no longer need motivation every day because they have built rhythm. They no longer need applause because they are anchored in purpose. They no longer collapse when difficulties appear because difficulty is no longer unfamiliar. A prepared person does not panic when the door opens. They step through it. Why? Because they have already been becoming the person required on the other side. You say you want a healthy body. Are you prepared to choose what is beneficial over what is immediate? You say you want financial freedom. Are you prepared to delay status for stability? You say you want a peaceful mind. Are you prepared to stop feeding your own agitation? You say you want a meaningful relationship. Are you prepared to communicate honestly, listen humbly, and remain loyal when convenience disappears? You say you want a powerful future. Are you prepared to become disciplined in ordinary moments? This is the real question. Life does not deny many people. Many people disqualify themselves through lack of preparation and then call it bad luck. Preparation is a sacred act because it proves seriousness. When you prepare, you are telling life, I am not just dreaming. I am readying myself. I am building the container for the blessing I seek. Because that is what many people forget. A blessing without capacity becomes a burden. Money without discipline destroys. Attention without maturity corrupts. Love without inner stability becomes dependency. Opportunity without skill becomes panic. So do not just ask for more. Increase your capacity. Become larger within. Strengthen your mind. Refine your habits. Deepen your focus. Sharpen your speech. Clean your intentions. Then when life gives, you will be able to keep, protect, and multiply what arrives. The third way to get everything you want in life is to master your attention. Where your attention goes, your life follows. This sounds simple, but it explains almost everything. A distracted person leaks power all day long. They wake up and instantly hand their mind to noise. They check what everyone else is doing. They consume other people's opinions before hearing their own thoughts. They let random events shape their emotional climate. Their mind becomes like an open house with no door, no gate, no discipline, no boundaries. Then they wonder why they cannot focus, why they feel restless, why they feel behind, why they cannot create momentum. Because attention is your most precious currency, and most people spend it like children. A person who cannot direct attention cannot direct life. This is why stillness is so important. Not because stillness is passive, but because stillness teaches command. When you sit with yourself and observe the movement of your mind, you begin to notice how easily you are pulled. One thought drags you into fear. One memory drags you into regret. One notification drags you into comparison. One desire drags you into impulsive behavior. And if you are never aware of this, you will live as a servant to every inner and outer disturbance. But the moment you see it clearly, a different possibility opens. You realize, I do not have to obey every thought. I do not have to react to every feeling. I do not have to chase every impulse. I can choose, I can return, I can focus, I can remain. Everything powerful in life requires concentrated attention. To build skill, attention. To build wealth, attention. To build trust, attention. To build peace, attention. To build wisdom, attention. Scattered attention creates a scattered life. You cannot keep watering weeds and complain about the state of your garden. If you spend your best hours feeding gossip, fear, lust, envy, entertainment, and endless distraction, what exactly do you expect to grow inside you? Greatness is not just built by what you do. It is built by what you refuse to feed. Protect your attention like it is sacred, because it is. Notice what drains you. Notice who confuses you. Notice which habits leave you dull, reactive, and weak. Notice which environments make you betray your higher self. Then be brave enough to cut, reduce, or remove them. This is not punishment. This is self-respect. Every focused person appears almost magical to the unfocused because they conserve their energy. They do not give their mind to everything. They choose what deserves their life force. And that is why they move faster, deeper, stronger. Not because they have more time than others, but because they waste less of themselves. The fourth way to get everything you want in life is to stop negotiating with discomfort. The life you want is almost always hidden behind something you have been avoiding. The conversation you do not want to have. The routine you do not want to keep. The truth you do not want to face. The discipline you do not want to practice. The fear you do not want to walk through. The loneliness you do not want to endure while building something meaningful. You say you want more, but every time discomfort appears, you retreat. Then understand this clearly. The person you are right now is perfectly designed for the comfort zone you keep protecting. If you want a different life, you must build a different tolerance. Comfort is one of the greatest seductions of modern life because it disguises itself as safety. It tells you to rest when you need effort. It tells you to delay when you need action. It tells you to avoid when you need courage. It tells you to numb when you need awareness. It tells you to settle when you need standards. And if you listen to it too often, you become fragile. Not evil, not hopeless, fragile, unable to hold pressure, unable to face rejection, unable to stay disciplined when results are slow, unable to hear criticism without collapsing, unable to persist when the mood disappears. A fragile person may still have talent, but talent cannot carry what weakness keeps dropping. You must train yourself to become intimate with necessary discomfort. Wake before you feel ready. Work when the mood is absent. Speak truth when silence would be easier. Train the body when the bed feels sweeter. Save money when spending would impress others. Keep your word when excuses are available. Sit in silence when your mind wants stimulation. Apologize when pride wants to defend itself. Walk away from what is misaligned even when part of you wants to stay. This is how strength is built, not in theory, in friction, in resistance. In those small moments where two versions of you are in conflict and you choose the higher one. Do not misunderstand this. The goal is not to suffer for the sake of suffering. The goal is to become free from the dictatorship of comfort. Because once discomfort no longer controls your decisions, your world expands. You can learn faster, build faster, heal deeper, recover stronger, love better, lead better, endure more. Most limits in life are not external. They are thresholds of discomfort that people have never trained themselves to cross. So when things become hard, they assume it means stop. But often hard does not mean stop. It means transform. It means you are meeting the edge of your old identity. Stay there long enough and something new begins. The fifth way to get everything you want in life is to become trustworthy to yourself. This may be one of the most overlooked truths of all. A person who cannot trust himself lives in quiet weakness. He says he will begin tomorrow, but tomorrow comes and he delays. He says he will stop the habit, but he returns to it at night. He says he will stay calm, but small things shake him. He says he wants change, but his actions keep voting for the same life. And over time, something dangerous happens. He stops believing his own words. He loses authority in his own mind. Then even when he makes a real promise, a deeper part of him does not fully listen because it has seen too much inconsistency. Self-trust is not built by positive thinking. It is built by evidence. By showing yourself again and again that when you say something matters, you act accordingly. This is why discipline is not only productive. It is spiritual. Every disciplined act is a message to yourself: my word has weight. My intentions are not decoration. My standards are alive. When you keep your promises to yourself, your inner posture changes. Your mind becomes less noisy because you are no longer constantly betraying yourself. Your confidence becomes more stable because it is not based on fantasy. It is based on proof. You know what you can survive. You know what you can do. You know how you behave when it is difficult. That creates a kind of peace that no external praise can give. Many people want confidence without self-trust. That is impossible. Real confidence is not loud. It is not performance. It is not trying to appear unshaken. Real confidence is the quiet knowing that you can rely on yourself. That if life becomes difficult, you will not disappear. That if pain arrives, you will not abandon your principles. That if temptation appears, you can hold your center. That if failure happens, you can begin again. This kind of confidence is earned in private. No one can hand it to you. So start small if you must, but start with seriousness. Promise less, but fulfill more. Do not keep making grand declarations while living a careless pattern. That weakens the spirit. Instead, choose a few non-negotiables and honor them. Wake when you said you would. Finish what you started. Speak with integrity. Keep the routine. Protect your attention. Stop lying to yourself about what is draining your life. Little by little, the foundation becomes stronger. And when the foundation is strong, you can build much more on top of it. Relationships improve because you show up with steadiness. Work improves because your energy is not fractured. Health improves because your actions begin to align. Even your presence changes because there is something unmistakable about a human being who trusts his own word. The sixth way to get everything you want in life is to learn the law of patience without becoming passive. This is where many people lose their way. They either rush everything and destroy what could have grown naturally, or they hide in the word patience while doing nothing. Both are forms of immaturity. True patience is active. It is disciplined waiting. It is continued right action without immediate emotional reward. It is the willingness to plant, water, protect, and repeat without demanding instant fruit. This kind of patience is powerful because it keeps you stable in seasons where results are invisible. The modern mind hates this. It wants proof now. It wants transformation now. It wants the body now, the money now, the audience now, the healing now, the relationship now, the status now. And because it wants everything quickly, it damages the very process that could have produced the thing with depth. You cannot force roots by pulling the tree upward. You cannot speed real mastery by pretending. You cannot rush maturity by copying language. You cannot rush peace by escaping discomfort. Growth has a rhythm. Life has a timing. And wisdom is learning how to work intensely while still respecting that timing. Patience protects you from desperation. Desperation is dangerous because it makes you abandon standards. When you are desperate for love, you accept what insults your soul. When you are desperate for money, you make choices that rot your integrity. When you are desperate for attention, you become artificial. When you are desperate for quick success, you skip the foundations and later collapse under the weight of your own ambition. But a patient person has depth. They are moving but not begging, working but not panicking, building but not forcing. They understand that what comes too early is often unstable, so they stay rooted. This does not mean you become relaxed in a lazy way. It means you become calm in an active way. You continue learning, continue refining, continue showing up, continue correcting, continue building skill, continue carrying yourself with dignity. And in that process, your desire becomes cleaner. It is no longer frantic. It is no longer mixed with insecurity and constant comparison. It becomes steady, mature, directed. Then when results come, you receive them with gratitude instead of shock. Look at how many people quit too early, not because they lack potential, but because they lack patience. They mistook silence for failure. They mistook slow growth for no growth. They mistook repetition for stagnation. But many of the most important transformations in life happen quietly for a long time before they become visible. A disciplined mind is being built long before anyone notices the results. A strong body is being built long before the mirror fully reflects it. Trust is being built long before deep relationships reveal their depth. Financial stability is being built long before it looks impressive. Inner peace is being built long before the face softens and the voice slows down. If you quit in the invisible stage, you betray the miracle before it appears. The seventh way to get everything you want in life is to understand that life often gives through subtraction before it gives through addition. This is very hard for the ego to accept. We think getting what we want will always feel like receiving more. More money, more people, more opportunities, more recognition, more comfort, more certainty. But often the first gift life gives is removal. It removes illusions, it removes fake relationships, it removes habits that are poisoning you. It removes identities that no longer fit. It removes places where you had become too small. It removes comfort that was keeping you asleep. And because removal feels painful, many people resist the very process that is making room for what they asked for. You asked for peace, but peace required you to lose chaos you were attached to. You asked for growth, but growth required leaving behind people who only loved the smaller version of you. You asked for self-respect, but self-respect required ending patterns that once gave you temporary relief. You asked for clarity, but clarity required the collapse of some fantasies. You asked for a meaningful life, but meaning required sacrifice. So be careful. When life starts rearranging things, do not immediately call it cruelty. Sometimes it is mercy in a fierce form. There are seasons where your greatest progress does not look like gaining. It looks like letting go. Letting go of the need to be understood by everyone. Letting go of the habit of proving yourself. Letting go of relationships built on convenience. Letting go of identities built on pain. Letting go of your addiction to distraction. Letting go of your old story. Letting go of the belief that because something has been with you a long time, it belongs in your future. No, time does not sanctify dysfunction. Familiarity does not equal alignment. Length does not equal truth. When you become willing to lose what weakens you, life begins to trust you with more. Why? Because now you are not clinging with fear. Now you are choosing with awareness. There is a dignity in a human being who can release what no longer serves the soul. Such a person is not empty. Such a person is available for deeper work, available for better love, available for cleaner purpose, available for true opportunity. Most people want new doors while still dragging old chains. That is why movement feels heavy. But when the chains fall, even your walk changes. And beneath all of these ways, there is one deeper principle running through everything. The life you want is not separate from the person you are becoming. This is why chasing without transformation fails. You keep trying to grab externally what you have not yet built internally. Yet life is always mirroring. It mirrors your level of responsibility, your emotional maturity, your ability to endure, your degree of self-deception, your standards, your focus, your patience, your courage. If you want a different reflection, become different at the source. Do not underestimate the cost of self-deception. One of the easiest ways to remain stuck is to keep romanticizing your intentions while ignoring your behaviors. You say you are trying, but are you really? You say you are serious, but what does your routine say? You say you are disciplined, but what happens when nobody is watching? You say you want peace, but how much conflict do you create through your own mind? You say you want freedom, but what are you still enslaved by? Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is stop speaking to yourself like a fragile child who must be protected from truth. Speak to yourself with compassion, yes, but also with firmness, because a life of depth is not built on self-pity. It is built on self-respect. And understand this too. Getting everything you want in life does not mean getting every impulse, every fantasy, every passing craving. Many desires come from confusion. Many come from ego. Many come from emptiness. A mature person learns to refine desire, to ask not only, how do I get this, but also who is desiring this and why. Is this desire coming from truth or from insecurity? Is it aligned with who I want to become? Or is it a distraction dressed as opportunity? The more conscious you become, the more your desires mature. Then life becomes less about collecting and more about aligning. Less about showing and more about becoming. Less about consumption and more about mastery. There is a point in life where you must decide whether you want to be entertained by your own potential or transformed by your own discipline. Potential is seductive because it lets you imagine greatness without paying for it. Discipline is humbling because it demands action before identity fully catches up. But only one changes destiny, only one builds a life, only one turns vision into reality. And every day you are voting through habits, through thoughts, through decisions, through what you tolerate, through what you repeat, through what you avoid, through what you refuse. Some people keep asking for a sign, but often the sign is already here. The restlessness you feel is a sign. The dissatisfaction you feel is a sign. The quiet awareness that you are meant to live at a higher level is a sign. But a sign is not enough. You must respond, you must move. You must stop worshipping inspiration while neglecting execution. You must stop waiting to feel different before acting different. Action often comes first. Clarity often comes through movement. Strength often comes through burden. Peace often comes through discipline. Respect often comes through restraint. Wisdom often comes through pain that was observed instead of wasted. So when you wake up tomorrow, do not ask only what you want from life. Ask what life is asking from you in exchange. More honesty, more discipline, more patience, more courage, more letting go, more responsibility, more focus. The exchange matters. Because life is not a vending machine where desire alone should produce a result. Life is a field of cause and effect. Sow confusion, reap confusion. Sow discipline, reap strength. Sow clarity, reap direction. Sow integrity, reap trust. Sow patience, reap stability. Sow focused effort, reap possibility. The world does not always belong to the most talented. Very often it belongs to the most aligned. The one whose mind, habits, values, and actions are moving in one direction. The one who can remain steady when others become emotional. The one who can continue when others become distracted. The one who can wait without giving up. The one who can work without applause. The one who can lose without collapsing. The one who can let go without becoming bitter. The one who can start again without turning it into a drama. This kind of person becomes difficult to stop because their power is not superficial. It is rooted, and perhaps this is what you have truly been searching for all along. Not merely a list of techniques to get things, but a way of being that makes your life powerful, clean, and directed. Because once you become that person, many things you once chased begin to move toward you naturally, not magically, lawfully. People trust steadiness. Opportunities trust preparation. Peace trusts discipline. Love trusts wholeness. Respect trusts integrity. Results trust repetition. Life opens more easily to those who stop approaching it like beggars and start meeting it like builders. So stand up internally. Stop dragging yourself through your days as if your own life is a burden you are forced to carry. It is your life, your responsibility, your gift, your training ground, your test, your chance. And maybe nobody is coming to arrange it for you in the perfect way. Good. Then there is no more waiting, no more pretending. No more rehearsing a future you keep refusing to earn. Become clear, prepare deeply, guard your attention, stop negotiating with discomfort, build self-trust, practice active patience, release what weakens you, and keep walking in that direction long enough for your life to become undeniable. Because in the end, the people who seem to get everything they want are rarely the lucky ones. They are the ones who learned how to govern themselves. They learned how to hold desire without being ruled by it. They learned how to endure the ordinary without losing vision. They learned how to remain disciplined when no one cared. They learned how to stay humble while becoming powerful. They learned how to say no to what steals life and yes to what builds it. They learned that the outer world begins to change when the inner world stops living in confusion. And when that happens, something remarkable becomes possible. You no longer move through life as someone hoping reality will finally be kind. You move as someone who has become capable of meeting reality with strength. Then even the things you have not yet received no longer make you desperate, because you know you are becoming the kind of person who can create, attract, recognize, and protect what matters. That knowing changes your face, changes your posture, changes the way you enter a room, changes the way you speak, changes the way you spend your mornings, changes the things you tolerate, changes the future that begins to form around you. This is why your life can change faster than you think once the route changes. A person who gains clarity after years of confusion can change quickly. A person who commits deeply after years of half-hearted effort can change quickly. A person who stops leaking energy into nonsense can change quickly. A person who finally becomes honest can change quickly. It does not always take forever. Sometimes it takes a real decision.